Hi, this is Lynn with MI Tinker, and thanks for joining me today. I'm doing a little bit different video today. It is about breaking my arm in this EXOS BOA cast, which is a pretty high-tech removable cast. I am about not quite 1 full month out from the initial break, and I am 3 weeks out from having surgery on it and having a plate and pins put in. So I wanted to show you how this higher tech cast works. Again, it's removable, and some of the pros and cons and things that might help you out should you or a loved one have one of these casts. And maybe I can give you a few tips on how my experience has been with it and things that might help you out. So join me today for taking a look at this EXOS BOA removable cast. So this EXOS BOA was fitted in the doctor's office, and I wanted to give you a little background as to what they do on it. They warm it up in a specialized oven. It gets to about 200 degrees, and they leave it in there for about 5-10 minutes until it's just slightly softened. And then what they do is they slide it on your arm and then shape it to your hand while you are in the office. Now, I think the fellow that fit me on mine was not quite as experienced. He missed a couple of steps, and so I experienced a little bit of discomfort with some chafing, and I wanted to show you what I did to relieve that. But I think I've made it work quite well. So let me just show you a couple of things here. To loosen it, it's pretty clever. So I'll show you here. This just lifts up, this knob lifts up, and then, but there's this little half ring that pulls out, and there are these little micro wires or strings that allow it to loosen, and then this just pulls open as such. So now it's kind of like a clamshell. You can kind of see that here. So then what I can do is once that's open, I actually put my finger in there to help spread it a little bit more, just for my own comfort, and then I can pull it out. Now you're going to see my add-on here because this particular material can be somewhat irritating over time. Really, the first 4 or 5 days, it was like a miracle. I really enjoyed having that versus a traditional cast. But then, you know, it's summertime, it gets hot and sweaty. If you do sweat in this, it can be irritating on your skin. So as you probably can tell from this, it's a sock. So I just took a cotton blend sock and cut the toe off of it. I cut a little thumb hole for my thumb to slide through. And there's a heel here, but that heel happened to line up with this bone on my wrist, which I got a little chip in as well. And so any pressure on that is a little uncomfortable right now. So what that little hole does is I can slide in a piece of padding, you know, some cotton padding such as this, to just add a little extra comfort under there. So this was my MacGyver or my, you know, 50-cent fix. Just sacrificed a pair of socks. So again, there it's a sock. Got a little hole for adding that padding to help relieve any pressure on where that little tiny chip is. And then I can slide it back on. So getting this back on, you kind of just reverse the order to spread it. Slide my hand back in. I have to retrieve some of the sock that rolled back. That's not too bad. Just like that. Then you take this little half moon and slide it back till it's even. And then push it down and then slowly tighten it. as such. So you can tighten it to where it's comfortable, just like that. And if you need to, you can loosen up just the front portion a little bit. It's smaller at the wrist and a little smaller in the palm than is what's sometimes comfortable. So just to have the ability to spread that some is a really good ability. And again, the sock helps pad it. The other thing that I wanted to point out is when I first got this, can you see, if you look this way, the thumb sticks kind of straight out. Right now it's at a little bit of an angle, but when your thumb is sticking straight out like that, your fingers never connect to it. So, you know, I can't grab anything. So if I were to try and grab it, I have to grab it closer to my knuckle. And that's not, it's really frustrating. So what I did is I took a hairdryer and I heated up just this portion of the cast on a warm setting for about 5 minutes, and then gently bent it, just holding it with my hand, and held it in position for another 5 minutes. And it helped put the angle at such where I can now touch the tip of my thumb, which makes grabbing something like paper a lot easier. And I can't tell you as a tool person how frustrating that is not to be able to use your opposing thumb and pick up items. So that's one of my tips as well. But the other one is give it a rest. So what do I mean by that? I mean that I give it a rest by just letting it air out. You know, wash your hand, use a gentle exfoliator on it, such as washcloth that has a little nap to it. But then what I like to do is, while watching TV at night, I just give myself a little extra time for quiet time in front of the TV. I put a little CBD butter on it. All right, I put that on my hand, and then I just gently massage my hand. You know, the incision point is here, and I just gently, gently, gently use that little CBD butter and massage my fingers, my palm, and just give my hand a break. No pun intended. Just give it a chance to recuperate a little under its own power. And then I can work on my finger mobility just a little tiny bit. Comfortable. Don't push it. Don't push it. Just work on how comfortable that is to do this, because all of these tendons have been messed with. You know, when they put a plate in there and 7 screws, all those had to get moved aside to get that plate and those screws in there. So now this is the road to recovery, and just gentle, gentle. Give it a chance to rest. And I just prop it up on a pillow and let it recuperate. Let some of those lines that the cast puts in there or the sock puts in there or wherever those pressure points have been, just give that a chance to recuperate. That's my tip, but do check with your doctor first. Don't take just my word for it. Make sure your professional is giving you the green light to do that. And then lastly, at nighttime, I tried last night for the first time just wearing an ace bandage to bed. Now, what does that do? It's a little more flexible. It's a little less tight in those pressure point areas, but it still reminds me that I am not healed yet, that I am still in recovery, and that I can be flexible with it, but I can be responsible enough not to do something crazy, like if you're having a bad dream and start flailing, you still have protection on your hand. Hopefully you don't have bad dreams and start flailing. But it gave me a great sense of comfort last night for the first time. Again, this is 4 weeks out, not to have something as restrictive on my arm. And yet I felt as though I had enough protection. So this is Lynn with MI Tinker, and thanks for watching today on this removable EXOS BOA cast. and sharing my experiences, and wishing you and myself and others a fast road to recovery. And check back soon, more videos to come shortly.